have to save it for the episode.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to cringe listening to this later.
And then the pressure is on to say something funny, but we're not always funny. Wow, I really like where that conversation went.
Right. I am reading. I don't know how to make it sound like I'm not reading. Oh my God. I can't redo it. I don't know what's going to happen.
Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. Hi, y'all. Welcome to Hustle Humbly. It's Alyssa and Katie, and we are two top producing realtors in the Baton Rouge market.
We work for two different companies where we should be competitors, but we have chosen community over competition.
The goal of our podcast is to encourage you to find your own way in business.
So stop comparing yourself and start embracing your strengths. Hi, Alyssa.
Hey, Katie.
And welcome to Jay.
Hello.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. It is episode 159. What it's like being a podcaster.
We thought this would be a lovely episode since it's our third birthday as a podcast. I already ate mine.
Alyssa ate her full-on cupcake before we started. Are you recording?
Yes, it's recording.
Okay. So we've welcomed Jay into the studio, but the
flip report. Not a lot to report today. Okay. We are waiting on the tile to come in. It shouldn't be too much of a delay. I'm very pleased with the laundry room tile.
Where did you get this tile? Did you get it at
ProSource?
Oh, yeah, okay.
No, not the Floor and Decor this time.
No.
Not a huge selection.
Yeah, and it's like whatever you get, whatever's there is what you get, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
So we have ordered it. We're just waiting. And yeah, I'll have more of an update for you next week.
So nothing's happening.
We're in a holding period. I told him to focus on the outside and just get it cleaned up.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Cleaning and
clean,
waiting.
Clean.
Okay, got it.
On to the birthday episode.
Okay, so we do get sort of frequent questions about how the actual logistics of podcasting. Like, how did you get started? And we're going to kind of dive into that. But we invited Jay, our delightful producer and my husband, into the studio, into our lair, because I wanted to ask you questions, the more kind of logistical starting ones, and then we'll release you, and then we'll talk about the other stuff.
Great. I'm ready.
Everyone agrees? Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right. First of all, can you tell us a little bit about the journey of our equipment? Because people love to focus on the equipment. What do you need to podcast?
What do we need?
You don't need a whole lot to podcast. You can start with just a cell phone and a small microphone.
Okay, I would like to jump in here. That is exactly how Jenna Kutcher started. Sitting in her car, in her garage, so that the dogs wouldn't bark, talking onto her cell phone.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's really about getting a quiet space, a small space with good acoustics and sound dampening sort of thing.
So a lot of people do it in their closet.
A lot in the closets. You get a lot of dampening material from all the clothes and stuff like that. Alyssa's done that a couple times during COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't need equipment.
You don't need equipment, but the better equipment you have, the better it will sound.
Because now
to an extent.
Jay has evolved.
He likes to buy equipment.
A perfectionist.
I'm like,
we're only on our third set of microphones.
Okay. Well, it's our
3 years.
It's our third birthday, so I guess one microphone a year is okay.
And I feel like the place we're at now probably won't ever buy anything else.
Oh, you really are like...
Oh, yeah,
unless I get a bigger mixer that I can get more microphones on the same computer. Otherwise, that's it.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay.
We'll see about this.
I would like to say Jay is tech savvy, so it is not surprising to me that he was able to decipher how to get the right equipment and how to make it work. But how did you learn?
Well, I also have a friend that is in the voiceover industry who does like commercials and TV shows and that sort of thing.
Right.
And I built his studio about 7 years ago. So I know a lot about what happens on the back end of that stuff.
You had more sound knowledge than the average Joe.
Correct.
Because when we first started, we had
little lapel microphones.
No. Yes, we had.
Jeanette.
Yes, when we first started, we had Jeanette who did the editing and the scheduling, and she did our first 5 or 10 episodes.
10. So Jay didn't start editing until number 11.
Okay.
Yep.
Which, I mean, is pretty early on.
Yeah.
Correct.
But Jeanette, I don't know if she still offers this. So you guys can go look up Jeanette Tapley, Tapley, if you want to check it out. She used to offer like a podcast startup kit, if you will.
Yes.
She's an editor, a podcast editor at the time. I honestly don't know if she still does it. But you could basically pay a fee and she would set you up on, the right hosting. So we host on Libsyn, and
all your Apple stuff was put together.
She knew how to submit you to Apple and get you on all of the platforms and figure it all out. So,
which a lot of that is not very difficult. It's like any other online service. You create your username, you set up the links to the different services, and it just works.
Right.
Sort of.
We had to have a little snippet intro, if you will, to submit to Apple. It didn't even need to be more than a minute.
We were so nervous when we did that.
Oh my God.
That was the first time I ever recorded something and heard my voice and had to watch myself.
And
it was
you were like,
so hard for me to hear what I sounded like.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to cringe listening to this later.
And now look at us.
You probably will.
I
now
hear my voice all the time.
Whatever, it's great. Although last episode I was bringing the Delilah vibes.
Yeah, we did.
You'll hear it later.
I haven't heard that one yet.
Yeah, you haven't heard it yet. Okay, yeah, you're going to have to deal with that. So Jay, tell us a little about the equipment that we use now.
Now we use Shure microphones.
That one's Shure, this one's Shure.
Second generation of microphones were Shure. I just like that brand. They're not overly expensive. You don't need a Blue Yeti, a $400 microphone. Those are ridiculous.
He's going to have that next year.
If it shows up, we'll know. If it shows up, we're going to know. That was $400. What are you thinking? What are you thinking?
I don't think so.
Okay, but all of the equipment is in an effort to get the best sound quality in. You can't post-produce good sound quality.
That's right. So it's garbage in, garbage out, golden in, golden out.
Okay. Oh. This is new information.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's why I cringe whenever Alyssa has to record in the closet. I'm like, oh, this is terrible. Or y'all record something online with just your webcam. And I'm like, oh, this is terrible.
Yeah.
Or Zoom, yes.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Right. Some of our sound has been garbage on a few episodes.
Yeah. There's only so much I can do on the back end.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. All right. So Shure microphone.
Correct. Now, when it comes to the editing part of it, that takes a lot of knowledge and watching YouTube videos in order to learn how to do different things.
Okay.
And
that's how you learned?
Yep. I didn't know how to do any of that before, but just reading online and watching videos and all kinds of stuff.
He can teach himself anything because he's, I think, really good at following and understanding directions.
Okay.
I would be lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm good at skimming over all the nonsense and picking out what you need to know.
Okay,
right.
So you have a microphone and then you have a mixer, right?
I've got a mixer, yes.
Which is, I think, Scarlett
brand. 2i2, I believe is what it is.
The mixer. Good, let's tell them.
Yeah, I don't
know.
Where
both microphones go into a box and then it turns into a USB that goes into the computer. That's it.
Oh, so it's pulling all your microphone through that mixer.
Correct.
And then into your computer. And in the computer, we have Adobe Audition software.
Correct.
Okay. So we have 2 microphones, sometimes 3, but that gets more complicated, right?
Yeah. Then I have since we only got a mixer in the beginning that was for 2 microphones, when I need a third one, I have another mixer, which is also a Scarlett.
Okay.
Nobody
needs
but it
to
only
know
has
that.
1 point.
That's
one
fine.
port.
We have 2 microphones. They go into one mixer. The mixer feeds into our computer, which has Adobe Audition. And then you hit the record button. Voila.
Voila.
And you see it's recording.
That's
Yes.
right.
And then you can edit that sound from the
Correct.
computer. And then you upload it where?
Upload it to libsyn.com.
Okay.
It's the podcast hosting service.
Okay.
And then when you download it on Apple or Android or wherever you get your podcast, it pulls it directly from Libsyn servers.
It's basically a hosting
It's a
platform.
hosting
So
platform.
Libsyn pushes it to all the places.
Yes,
Correct. So
Spotify.
Apple and
whatever.
Spotify on that don't
Everywhere.
host it. It's
or
an
wherever
RSS
you
feed.
listen to podcasts.
That's right.
Right. You always hear people say
Yes.
that. Wherever you listen to podcasts.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So how much time do you spend on, because the other thing people always want to know is, what is the time commitment like for podcasting? Just tell us your post-production time frame. I know that you're maybe a little bit more perfectionistic than your average someone maybe wanted to make a podcast about their local real estate market.
Yep. Well, it depends on how good you want it to sound afterwards. However, I'm pulling out coughs and sneezes and sniffles and all that sort of thing.
The loud breathing.
The loud breathing.
The heavy breathing.
The pen tapping.
That's hard to pull out.
Yeah?
He's like, just don't do it.
Oh, sorry.
Stop doing that.
And so I also, while I'm editing and listening to it on the back end, I'm also pulling out good, making note of good sections for the snippets for the beginning of the episode, the, funny parts or, whatever I'll put in there. And then also stuff for TikTok or Instagram
right,
or
like
whatever.
Little snippet content.
The nuggets.
You're pulling out. You added the funny things at the beginning pretty early on, and that was all you. And I'm like, that is really good.
That's funny.
It's so funny.
And he didn't tell us he was doing that. We just listened to it.
And it was
I was
there.
like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So another podcast I listened to, they didn't pull out funny things, but they pulled out,
right,
like
just
the
like
nuggets out
a
and
little
threw
thing.
it. Yeah, and I just said, y'all said some funny stuff, so I threw it at the
You're
beginning.
like,
See
I
what
love
happens.
it.
And then the pressure is on to say something funny, but
All
we're
the
not
time.
always funny.
Right. So we leave the microphone on a lot, even when we're not like recording, in order to catch the good stuff. Okay, so time commitment wise, what would you say?
For a 1 hour episode, probably takes me 2 hours to edit it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
And get it all scheduled and to do your thing.
Yeah, uploading it to Libsyn and all that is pretty easy. Then it takes me another 20 to 30 minutes to put it into the video part, maybe, because I have to pull the video
YouTube.
off of the GoPro and then upload all that. And then I use VideoPad, I believe, for the software, which is a free software. And it puts all the video into it, and then I have to overlay the audio on top of it and sync it up and then chop that so I can put the graphics at the, in 3 different spots in there and all that.
In the YouTube video you're talking about?
Correct.
Yeah, like he puts a graphic in that's like a
it
hello.
removes the sound from the video, and you have to put the sound.
Well, I use the good sound. So the GoPro is also recording audio. I just don't use that audio. But I can see it and sync it up.
If it's 1 second off, it looks weird.
Well, you can see like the spikes and you can just line up the spikes and there it is,
That is
I know, it's
brilliant.
amazing.
I had no idea.
So like you're editing out coughs and sneezes, and then you're taking that. Do you have to edit the video?
Right.
No, because I try not to, because you'll notice it on the video if I chop a second or two off of it, where you go from here and then all of a sudden you're over here.
Yeah.
So I just leave it out. The audio's gone, so your coughing or sneezing is gone, but you still see it happening.
There's just a break in the
audio
sound.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. This is fascinating.
I had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
Me neither.
Obviously,
I had no
y'all
idea.
never watched the YouTube.
Well, I mean, I've never watched it at a sneeze, I guess.
Yeah.
Y'all and the 12 other people.
No, people are watching the YouTube.
Thank you to our 12 loyal YouTube followers.
There are more than
Thank
12.
you. I know.
Okay, I want to say something about YouTube, because people listening who maybe are thinking about making a podcast are now like, oh, video? I don't want to be on video. That's why I was doing a podcast. You're not required to make a video of your podcast.
No.
Right.
In fact, I just yesterday caught an episode. I wanted to find something, and so I Googled it. Jenna Kutcher, Gold Digger, has a very, one of the top podcasts in the world of all the podcasts, right?
Mm-hmm.
She has a YouTube channel with her podcast on it that is it's just the shot of her cover of the podcast. It's just her photo.
That's what runs the whole time?
That's what runs the whole time.
So it's basically just listening to sound on
YouTube, because some people just go to YouTube. And she had, 4,000 subscribers, and it kind of made me laugh, because we have 1,000 subscribers, but we have actual video footage of us talking. And the reason why we have video footage of us talking is because, my friend Gary V said, if you're going to record a podcast, why would you not just video it so that you have, if maybe someone wants to watch it on YouTube? And exactly right. Now, if you want to clip out something we said, although the view is not us staring at the camera, it's us talking. But still, you can make a TikTok or a reel or whatever you want, or just put the whole thing on YouTube like we do. So it is not a requirement to have a video component to your podcast. Mm-hmm. It is just something that we have always done, and I'm glad that we did in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's nice to have that footage too.
Yeah, see how we evolved from recording in your bedroom.
And now we're on our good sides.
Yeah, finally, 150 episodes in.
That's right. Now we're on our good side. Okay, Jay, is there anything else you want to tell us before we set you free from the logistical part of podcasting?
I can't really think of anything.
Jay also built for us sound walls, which are simply very simple wooden frames with blankets from our linen cabinet clamped on.
Correct. And then there's some sound dampening material behind each one of them on the walls.
Yes, you can see if you YouTube it.
Yep. It helps with the echo bouncing off of each microphone.
And our lights.
And then
our lights.
There's lights in here as well.
The lights are definitely just because we're making a video.
Right.
Yep.
If we were only doing sound, we would not need a light.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. That's all. So set up in the before we record in a day takes you what?
20 to 30 minutes.
So like in
most.
30 minutes, you can have it all set up, all of the software, everything's ready to go. Fake wall is up.
Yep.
And then a couple of hours post.
Couple of hours post.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Not terrible.
I think that's all I have for you.
All right, great. It's
Thanks, Jay.
Thank you. Someone's at the door. You can take that out later.
fun. Good timing.
Okay. Bye, friend.
Bye.
Love ya.
Bye, YouTube.
Mean it.
Bye, you too.
Love you too.
Right. Are you taking that microphone with you? Okay. I'm gonna just slightly move a little bit now that I've got all this extra space around me.
Oh, yeah.
And I can get this out of my.
So much roomier.
But I think I am gonna eat my cupcake.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so
It
much
was
space for the
delicious.
activities. I hope that you have a story prepared so that I have time to eat my cupcake.
Oh,
No. Oh, that's
what
okay.
story
I'll ask
would you like me to tell?
No, that's okay. I'll ask you a question.
Okay.
How about that? How about
Great.
that? Okay. So we've kind of covered logistical. How do we record? Alyssa, why don't you tell us about how do we prepare? How do we choose a topic? How do we prepare before we record? Like all that fun stuff.
So we have a few different spreadsheets. And
Right.
every time someone sends in a question or an idea or a topic request, we have one spreadsheet that is topic requests. And we maybe have some notes in there about why it's on that list.
Yep.
And then the other spreadsheet is our more official spreadsheet.
Yep.
And it actually outlines what date we will record which topic and when it will air.
Yeah, and it has the full list of what has been recorded.
Yes.
What the recording date was, what the air date was, and also who the toast was.
Yes.
So that we can kind of just keep track of if we've done the toast, because they come to our email, they come to our DMs.
Yeah.
And okay, keep going.
So we like to stay, I would say, 4 or 5 episodes ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So that if we go through, like when I had Tate, or we're taking a little break while we're adjusting to school starting, or you go on vacation, you're not stressing about getting together to record.
Yeah.
So the spreadsheet stays scheduled about 2 months out. So we know what we're recording on what days, so that leading up to that day, we can prep on thoughts that we want to contribute to that topic.
Right. So sometimes I'm making notes. Look, to be fair, I may have a thought in my mind. Like if we know a couple of weeks out that we're going to talk about consistency, then maybe I'll just be taking note of that in my life, right?
Yeah, like mental notes.
But I don't physically write notes until the night before or the morning of.
Same.
And I think that what we're having and what's nice about the way we've structured the show is a conversation that is fresh, typically.
I never know where it's going to go, really, because I don't know what you're going to say, and you don't know what I'm going to say.
No.
So we just have to see where the other one goes. And sometimes I'm really excited about an episode and you're not. And sometimes you're really excited about an episode and I don't have as much to contribute.
Right, because I think we have our favorite topics, like the
Yes.
things that we are really passionate about, that we're really interested in. And even when that happens, though, I think we both come out at the other side of it feeling like, oh, well, that was...
Well, I always get nervous when I don't have a bunch of notes or things to say, but then our conversation carries us. And at the end of it, I'm like, wow, I really like where that conversation went.
Right. It is just a natural flow. A lot of times people will ask, well, how much of it is like edited? I'm like, I don't think y'all understand.
Like hardly any.
Hardly any of the content is edited.
yeah.
Almost never are we taking out something we talked about.
No, just if I'm coughing.
Right.
It's pretty much the edit at that point.
But there's just no need, because it's a conversation, there's really no need for us to come in and try to like doctor up what we're saying. Yes, sometimes do I feel like we lose our way or like digress? Yes, but it's a natural conversation, right? So we just have to like rope it back in. And that's why a lot of times we say, are you done with your notes? Are you done with your notes? It doesn't bother me that we say that in an episode. It just is...
It's how we are operating.
How we're doing.
I like that we're not scripted.
Yeah.
And saying, okay, you ask this question and then we'll talk about this. And I
do
feel like people would feel that.
Oh, yeah. I think you would feel it being scripted. And I also feel like that would be a little bit more tedious as the podcaster. Like
so much more planning.
You have to type it all out. You have to figure out what you want to say. Then you have to like read it. So you can't, Every time I do an ad, we do an ad in the show and we're reading it, even the intro when we were reading it, Jay would be like, no, it sounds like you're reading. No, it sounds like you're reading. I'm like, I am reading. I don't know how to make it sound like I'm not reading. No, you don't sound happy.
What we're doing, we're reading it.
Right. I'm like, I don't feel happy right now. He's like, you don't sound happy. I'm like, I'm just reading. So that's just really funny when you think about it. So we don't put a lot of time into it.
Not into prepare. I mean, we know what the topic is.
Right.
But we actually try not to talk to each other because
about that thing
because what happens is we'll be sitting at the kitchen table talking about the topic we're supposed to talk about in the recording, and we get on a really good discussion and we're like, stop, we have to save it for the episode.
Don't do it. Yeah, because you really and you can't catch that again.
No,
like the natural flow of the conversation is hard to recapture. So that is pretty funny.
Thankfully, to this day, we've made it 3 years where we have not lost
an episode
or thought we were recording.
We have lost video, I think.
Yeah.
And there have been some ones that are on YouTube with no video.
Right.
Fine.
But we've never had to redo an entire episode.
A whole
we got halfway through one when I first had Tate.
And then we had to just
went
scrap
bad because Tate was not cooperating.
But that was okay.
Yeah, we didn't finish it. And what we had wasn't good. It was very chopped up because I kept having to pause.
Well, and we just went back to that topic and started fresh.
Yes.
Started again. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, you're right. That's pretty good.
I know.
For 3 years.
Knock on wood.
But I know, right? I'm doing it too. That's one of my greatest fears. At the end of it, I'm like, did I hit save?
Yeah.
Did I oh my God, I can't redo it. I don't know what's going to happen.
That would be awkward, I feel.
To redo the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that would feel scripted almost. Because you already have had that conversation. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I wanted to ask you, what do you think are the keys to podcast success? Do you have some thoughts on this matter? I have some if you need time to think.
You go first.
Okay.
I do have some thoughts.
Okay. Ironically, same advice I would give in real estate.
Consistency. Yep.
Number one, I wrote it in all caps. The easiest and it's just consistently showing up. So we said in the beginning, we want our episodes to be about 45 minutes, between 40 and an hour. That seems like a digestible for 1 week. We want them to come out once a week. We're going to do them on Monday. And we have never strayed from that.
Can you believe we've never missed a Monday?
Never missed a Monday. Never.
I will say that the people that I have heard of personally that were like, I'm going to start a podcast, released 2, maybe 3 really good episodes, and then you never hear from them again.
Right. And I think what we did, luckily, was really think through a lot of topics before we started to where we were not that they were all lined out, but we at least had some ideas of where we were going to take it. And you really do have to kind of see the vision.
Yes.
See where is it going. But we just simply said, these are the rules. The rules are, it's a 45-minute episode once every Monday. Mm-hmm. And so no matter what happened, that was sort of our deadline. You better have another episode for Monday because you said that's when you were going to show up.
Yeah.
And I think that the funniest and my next question for you is, we'll finish this one. Okay. Are there any other thoughts on keys to success? I think that you're a good storyteller. I think we're both good by nature storytellers.
We love a good story.
We love a good story. We love to tell a good story. We love to listen to a good story. I think that in the type of our setup and the way we discuss topics, there's usually a story.
Yeah.
And the more stories there are, the better.
And I think between the both of us and the number of transactions we have done in the past,
there are a lot of stories.
There's a lot of stories for a lot of different situations.
So many examples.
Yeah.
But I think being a good storyteller and enjoying a good story is key.
Well, I was going to say, I wouldn't be able to podcast solo.
Me neither.
I feel like you pick up areas that I am not good at, that I wouldn't be able to do certain things or know how to do it or how to. I've just been so impressed at the way that you did all this online research of how to operate it like a business,
right?
Where, this is what we do. And
yeah.
I really love how we got to the point where we were every Thursday.
Yeah, this is when we record.
Something happens, every Thursday we record. And so I pretty much, it's kind of been, I'm sure we'll get into this, but it's been interesting because I'm a full-time realtor. and I do take a day off from work. But now I'm also taking off Thursdays.
Yeah.
And I do answer emails between recordings and whatnot on recording day. But it's pretty much a day off from real estate because I'm not going to home inspections. I usually, if you watch YouTube, I am in leggings and t-shirts or sweatshirts and my hair's in a ponytail because it's like I'm not seeing anybody but Katie and I guess everyone
all the people on YouTube.
Everyone on YouTube, I guess.
I'm going to be recorded, but I'm not seeing any humans.
I'm not seeing anyone in person. I probably should dress up more for YouTube.
I don't think it's fine. It's fine.
But it's been nice, like, knowing every Thursday this is what we do.
That's right. It is helpful to have a schedule. I think scheduling is kind of the key component.
Yeah, scheduling,
What's also nice is that because we're a podcast that's talking to each other and has two hosts, we're not guest centric. Okay. So I don't have to do the logistics of scheduling a guest and getting questions for a guest and getting a guest bio and being prepared to when
we do have a guest, it's a lot of work.
It's a little bit more work. Yeah. It's a little bit more work. And you never know. The funny thing about having a guest is it could be someone we know kind of well. And then that conversation flows pretty naturally. But if it's someone we don't know very well, you just don't even know if there's going to be good chemistry, good good conversational chemistry. You just never can tell. So I think the way we structured has been easy for us.
Yes.
Because we just show up to talk to each other. We could have the same conversation without a microphone.
Oh, yeah.
It wouldn't be weird at all. It would just be today we're talking about client management. I mean, I've had client management discussions with you. It's just, so there's ease.
Very easy.
I don't feel like the part of recording is hard at all.
No.
It's just a chat.
Right.
Just chatting. We're pretty transparent people. We're very approachable. So it's not like I'm worried about what are the people listening thinking.
Yeah, no.
I'm not trying to offend anyone, but,
right.
We're just having an honest discussion. The
content is easy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the prep is easy. So the key to success, consistency, being a good storyteller, and being entertaining while you're being educational.
Yeah.
I think that we are heavy education focused. So we might be telling you really nuts and boltsy stuff, but you're also going to tell the story of why that applies.
Yes.
How did this play out in my real estate career? What happened if we didn't stage the house or if we did stage it? Actual stories. So I think
real case studies.
Those are, case studies. Those are my thoughts on the key to podcasting success.
I would agree with that.
Oh, I'm so glad that you agree. And just being conversational. So it's just a natural flow as opposed to being scripted makes it easy. So if you're going to start a podcast and you're like, well, how do I structure this? What's going to be fun for you? What's going to be easy for you? I wouldn't think you want to start a podcast that requires you to do a lot of work. Mm-hmm. Especially if you have a full-time job.
If you have to constantly research your topic and do all this prep and planning.
Then it's just
we're just speaking from experience.
Right. It is a full-time job. Hey, Alyssa.
Hey, Katie.
What do we mention almost every episode?
Email templates.
You're right. We sure do. And after every time we mention an email template, do you know what we get?
Emails asking if they can have copies of the email template.
Can you send me a copy of that template? I have never had one like that. That sounds great. And you know what the good news is?
What?
You can get all of our email templates from our course, Email Templates 101. Tell the people about it.
Our course has all of the email templates you would need to send to your buyers and your sellers and your clients that are buying and selling at the same time.
Exactly.
To get through every step of the transaction and giving them information that they need for where they are in the transaction.
It's great because you never forget to tell them something.
Yes, and we've already done all the work for you.
Yeah.
We wrote them and you can personalize them.
Yes.
And just feel organized knowing that you have all the information where it needs to be.
And if you purchase Email Templates 101, you do get lifetime access. So occasionally we like to go in and make updates based on the market or if we find a new best practice and we put that right into the template and you get that updated straight away.
It just goes straight to your course.
Yep. Right. It's just there. It's
just
already in there.
It's just
already in there. You don't even have to worry about it. We'll send you an email and we'll say updated.
That's great. Where can they find these email templates?
You can find the email templates at emailtemplates101.com.
Emailtemplates101.com.
Yes, head over for reviews and all of the specifics.
Wonderful.
Okay, enjoy. I mean,
would you have ever believed that it would be what it is today?
No. I take that completely back. I think I saw like a long-term
You had more of a vision than I did.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, at this point, I think everything we've put in place, though, is just easy. It's not like it's not like there's not work.
It kind of sticks with our mission statement of life,
right.
Which is just simple. You know, we try not to
overcomplicate.
We try not to overcomplicate.
Like, we're not trying to make money in 1,000 different ways.
No.
If you're listening and you would like to buy email templates,
and you know what's so funny? We never thought when we started this podcast that we would even sell the email templates.
Right.
But we had an episode early on where we talked about, oh yeah, I have this email template that I send my buyers during the inspections. And the next day when it aired, our email was full of people. Hey, could we buy your templates? Could we buy your templates? And all of a sudden we were like, oh,
but I also remember you were like, oh, I don't know. What do you think? Like, is that like $10? I was like, Alyssa Jenkins.
She was like, how much
That's
work?
A lot of work.
I know. It was so, I mean, we had them, but we had to convert what we use in our daily business into something that they can use for theirs and edit it and put their own information. I just never would have thought that it would. And I'm thankful because this is something I enjoy doing as a way to give back to my industry without having to meet individual coffee dates all the time.
Right.
I am very fulfilled by doing this podcast and giving back to my industry. But the fact that it can be monetized does take away some of the guilt that I was beginning to have as the podcast was needing more time. And I was taking time from my work to do the podcast. And so it helps that because of the templates, it was able to monetize. And I'm also very thankful that it allowed us to monetize without having ads.
Right.
Like, aren't you glad we're not interrupting this episode to
tell you about a mattress?
Yeah. Katie, I slept so good last night. Let me tell you why.
But let me tell you something. I never say never. If one day I want to tell you about my mattress, it just might be what it is.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Katie's more open to it. I'm more.
Alyssa's like, no.
I'm like, I don't want any ads.
It's fine. Oh, hold on.
What?
Well, that's okay. It's not an emergency, but I need to plug in the computer. It's like the computer is dying, and we're
man, okay,
we're on the wrong side. Okay, no worries, everyone. Everything's fine. Good thing I looked up though.
Yeah.
What if we had lost this episode?
That'd be terrible.
Wait, after just saying we've never lost an episode.
Yeah, here we go. Cut.
Okay, so one of my questions for you is, what are some things, and you've already kind of said a few, that have surprised us about podcasting?
I can't believe what an international reach it has.
Yeah.
The fact that we have listeners outside of Louisiana.
Right.
Let alone outside of the United States. Every time we get a review or a listener comment that's out of the country, my mind is blown.
Yeah.
And I just can't, it has surprised me so much. I was always thinking, if we had, 100 people that listened on the regular, that would be great. I never thought it would be thousands.
Thousands.
Yeah, I can't believe it. I just can't believe the reach. And you are very in tune with social media and podcast world. And I'm still trying to wrap my brain around it. It just amazes me.
Yeah.
And that it is reality. It's real.
Yeah.
So just trying to...
It's really hard to go from being a realtor in your small geographical area, in whatever your population is or whoever you're exposed to or whatever your database amount is, to go from thinking these are the people I can reach to then doing something that is online and could be reached by literally anyone.
Yes.
It is not something your brain can easily comprehend. Right. Like, to go from I could sell houses to this many people to I could talk to like so many people, I can't even picture the reach of that.
Right.
And I think we're lucky too in that we're podcasting in an industry with a lot of people. We have a huge niche. It's very niche, but it is huge. I mean, there's 1.5 million realtors. We don't even talk to a drop in the bucket.
No,
right?
Which is weird to think about.
Right.
Very strange.
Right. And so we still appreciate all of you when you share with your friends or other agents because we still have only touched a tiny little
and we
section.
Want all the realtors to operate well. We want them
to
all
be professional.
And have boundaries and be the boss and have confidence. Like we want all the realtors to hear this, but like 1% right now.
Right, less
is what we've reached.
Yeah. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that has surprised me is that, and I still have trouble in this mindset, I will be worried about, we need to make social media content. Like we need to make content. I need to post. I need to have story. Like we need to, I don't know, maybe we should be doing reels or like something else. And then I'll be like, what am I thinking? We put out an hour of content every week. It is a content machine. Like I can't even do with it what Gary Vee would tell us to, which is take your hour of your large form content, whether it's a YouTube video or a podcast or a keynote speech, whatever it is, and then cut it up into all the little pieces to have a post or have a TikTok or have, a smaller.
We would have to hire.
Oh, yeah.
We're at the point where if there's so many neat things that we could do. But we work.
Yeah.
And we have a family.
Yeah.
And we just.
I know.
We're doing as much as we can.
But sometimes when I get down on myself about I need more social media, I'm like, why? I put out the content. It's just that you have to consume it in a podcast.
Correct.
Enjoy, friends.
We're not social media stars. We're podcasters.
We're podcasters.
Yeah.
We're not influencers.
We would love to do more on social media.
We
agree. Enjoy it. We just, we can only do.
You can only do so much.
Right. We can do anything,
so
but not everything.
Not everything. All right. Here's another thing that surprises me. That we still have topics left to discuss.
That's probably the number one question I get is, how do you know what to talk about? Or people that don't listen that I'm friends with. So that's what's really funny too, is that the majority of our listeners are not in our marketplace, which is fine. It's just funny. But then I run into realtors in our marketplace that don't listen to the podcasts. And they're like, oh, are you still doing the podcast? I'm like, yep. Mm-hmm. It airs every Monday. And they look it up on their 150 episodes. Oh my. I say, yeah. I mean,
yeah, because the people who do listen will come with the pitchforks if we stopped.
Right. It would be so sad.
They would be like, what are you doing?
Are you?
You promised to be here every Monday. Why aren't you here?
I know. And they're like, but where do you get your topic ideas? And I said, well, the majority I feel come from things we have been through or a trend that we're seeing because we're in the trenches with you guys.
Right.
We are working and we are talking to buyers and we are talking to sellers and we are working with co-op agents. And so we're in the trenches. So a lot of it comes from situations we've had personally, maybe things that we're struggling with that we figure would help y'all too. And then listener requests is the biggest thing.
So many listener requests.
So many listener requests.
I mean, you can turn a singular listener question into a whole topic.
Yes.
If we get a DM and the question, it could be a one sentence question. If it's so much that I'm like, I couldn't possibly respond to this in a DM, I'm like, this might be a topic, right? Like, I cannot answer this question with a one sentence back.
Correct.
Then you're like, oh,
wow.
And if people ask the same thing over and over again,
we know.
Then we know.
Like the for sale by owner.
I know.
So many emails and questions. We were like, we have to do this episode.
You can't just ignore it. And the funny thing is, there are just a certain number of parts of the process. And we've been pretty good about addressing each part of the real estate process.
Dissecting it, yes.
Yeah. I don't know if we're finished, but we're getting closer to having.
We've done a lot of how-tos for sure.
A lot of how-tos. Any other things that you found surprising?
No.
I put in fulfilling, so we've already talked about that.
So I've really enjoyed that aspect of it.
Yeah. I mean, the first day, the podcast came out on August 19th, 2019. I also think it's wild that it really wasn't that much in advance of COVID.
No.
August 19th of 2019. And then we weren't even 6 months in, and there was quarantine and all, like we had to record on Zoom. Like it took a turn pretty quickly.
Yeah, it did.
To like
we had to adapt quickly.
Yeah.
And figure out.
But we didn't.
Well, here's the thing. We could have said, well, we should just
Stop.
And I will say we started off a lot stronger than I thought we would.
Yeah.
And then when COVID hit, it dipped.
Everyone's.
And I was feeling discouraged,
like,
and I was
no.
trapped at home. And
You're like, oh.
you know, it could have been very easy to say, maybe this isn't the right time. Maybe we should just pick up after this quarantine ends. But no, I was in my closet and had blankets hung everywhere and, you know, did what we could to make it work.
You have to. Because we promised.
Yeah, we were committed.
It's the consistency.
And I feel like it was the light in my quarantine.
I want to talk about, while we're on, it was the light. Well, that's also in my list of surprising things. That if we skip a week or two of recording, I do miss it. I'm like,
I know.
I'm like, it's been a while. And then we're semi-rusty for a minute. And then I'm like, oh, I feel much better now. Because you have to think, how often do you turn off all distractions and have an hour-long conversation with someone?
I mean, yeah. My phone is on airplane mode.
I don't have
while we record.
Right. No one is allowed to come in here. My children cannot interrupt. Like, it is strictly a quiet time when we're supposed to talk about whatever the topic is. Mm-hmm. It really is very revitalizing to your mind.
Yeah. There's several episodes, you know, we joke podcast therapy.
Yeah.
But that have really helped me.
Yeah.
In my business and just in my mindset and keeping me sharp and thinking about things.
Yeah.
And
I've changed lots of things about the way I work. You should see that my email inbox. It's quite nice. You would be
so proud of you.
So proud. There's like 4 emails in there. Okay. And I do think that we were friends before, but we're definitely closer friends now. Yeah. Like we just know each other so much better and we see each other so much more regularly than we did before. Yeah. So I don't know that was like an intention.
Right.
But it is a result.
Well, like even this summer, like every time I come, we hang out with your kids. Like
they're here.
Yeah, like I know them. Yep. I've obviously gotten to know Jay very well. I eat your food.
Yes. You're like, what snacks are in the pantry?
Yeah, what snacks are in the pantry. Mm-hmm. I know where the chocolate basket is. Yeah. What kind of tea do you have?
I know I've got the good tea today. Yeah. I brought my sweet tea to the birthday recording.
I've made myself very comfortable.
Great. Perfect. That's what the people want, for us to be very comfortable. I think that's everything that I have that was surprising to me.
Yeah.
Okay, but I want to revisit consistency and structure of a podcast if you're thinking of starting one. I believe that regularly aired podcasts are more successful than seasonal ones.
Yeah.
You know when they do like a 6-episode season once a year or a 10-episode season? I feel like we did a recording, remember, with Calvert, who did a podcast for one of our local title companies. It was great.
I loved it.
Yeah. He had a production company that helped him, and they would come and actually bring the equipment to his office and set it all up. Oh, it was very professional. We went and recorded one with him, and I was like, wow, look at all this.
Yeah, so fancy.
They had a light up recording sign and the whole thing.
It said on air.
It sure did. And I remember they did seasons, and I feel like maybe the producer or someone asked us, oh, well, do you do seasons? And I'm like, or when's your next season? I'm like, this thing never stops.
Yeah, it's every Monday.
This train is always running. But I'm like, it's interesting that it feels like those are your choices, right? Yeah. Someone will say, are you gonna regularly release, or are you gonna have seasons? And I would recommend, even if you can't do every week, if it's every other week or every month, that you still have a day that your podcast is always released.
Right.
And there's no break. So maybe it's once a month. That's all you can handle. And every, first of the month, there's the podcast, or first Tuesday, or whatever you pick. But I do think that is easier to have success with because the consistency is sort of built in. Because if you're like, oh, my first season's over, and then what? I don't know when we're releasing the second season.
Yeah.
It just feels like you don't know what to expect.
Sure.
As a listener.
How do you be a fan and follow along if you don't even know what to follow?
You don't know when it's going to be there.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, Alyssa, tell us some of your other favorite podcasts.
Some of mine, well, I start my morning every morning with the Newsworthy podcast. It's all the day's news in 10 minutes or less. It's fast, fair, fun, and on the go. So I listen to that. I am currently doing the Bible in a Year podcast.
In a year?
I have to tell you, it's been amazing because it's 20 minutes a day. And the first 10 minutes is just him reading. And
are they going to read you the whole Bible in a year?
So what's crazy
Does the podcast end after a year?
It starts over. I think they reuse it, obviously. Why would you have to
read the same part again?
Right. It's done.
Okay.
But what I like about it is that so I've done an audio Bible where I've listened to the whole thing, and it was rough. Okay. It was very, very difficult. Very difficult. I'm
sorry, this sounds like torture.
I know. It's okay. I like this one because the guy is funny.
Okay. Thank goodness.
And he reads it for 10 minutes.
Okay.
And then he explains it for 10 minutes.
And throws in some jokes?
Yes.
Okay.
And so I'm like, okay.
I can handle this?
I feel like I'm like understanding. And anyway, I'm really enjoying that. But other than that, I'm really just like, I listen to audiobooks.
Okay. So
I don't have a ton of podcasts.
You're working on a book at all times.
Right. I'm always listening to books or... but I like the Newsworthy because it's like daily. Yeah. Like I need to know that, but I do not want to watch the news. I just don't have the time or the energy.
No.
So yeah.
Okay, I
those
like
are my top ones.
Right. Well, okay. The Bible one is every day or once every day?
It's every day for a year.
Yeah, 365.
I'm
days.
Right now caught up. We're on day 201.
Oh, you're caught up.
I'm caught up, but sometimes I'm like 6 days behind, and then I'm kind of. Dreading it. But then I just need one full day in the car
and then you're like, got it.
Of appointments. I'm all caught up. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Perfect. What do I like? I like Gold Digger.
Yeah.
I like Gary Vee. I haven't been listening to it as much lately. I will tell you, to our friends who are considering podcasting, go listen to Gary Vee's podcast because the sound quality is almost never good.
Jay would be appalled.
He is, I'm certain, appalled. And it gets plenty of downloads and plenty of listens. And Gary's comment to that would be, it doesn't matter because the content is here. Doesn't matter if it's me talking in a restaurant with clinky dishes. Doesn't matter.
Right. I'm showing up and I'm telling you valuable information.
You just need the information. Like you can sort through the bad sound quality. So there's that one, Gold Digger. I love Amy Porterfield. Yes. She kind of gives you that online marketing information that's helpful. And for pleasure, I'm a big fan of Smartless.
What is that?
I've never told you about Smartless?
No.
Okay. Jason Bateman, Sean Hayes from Will and Grace.
Yeah.
And Will Arnett.
Okay.
Are the host.
Okay.
It's okay. 3 famous people, actors, host, and they interview other famous people.
Okay.
Like they interviewed Sandra Bullock, or the one I started with was Ryan Reynolds.
Okay.
They are absolutely hilarious.
Okay.
They are not kid friendly for the car.
Okay. Good to know.
So if you do not want to hear the curse words, you should not listen to the Smartless. But it is so funny. And it kind of has almost, I think, that little magical thing that I've figured out why people seem to like listening to us. You're listening to 3 friends talk.
Yeah, you feel like you're sitting with them.
To each other, and then most of the time to another friend. Like, hey, friend, we haven't talked in a while, and let's talk about how we know each other and, things we've done. And it's just really fun to listen to.
Yeah.
Really fun to listen to.
Now, what I will do a lot of times, if there's something I'm stuck on or need a specific, I'll just Google
that thing.
Podcast on client management.
Okay.
Or something.
Yeah.
Pick anything. Confidence. Yes. Usually it's podcasts on relating to your 5-year-old. That's usually the type of stuff I'm Googling.
You ever listen to Dr. Becky?
Okay. You told me about I do like Dr. Becky.
Dr. Becky's really good. Good Inside is her podcast.
Yes. So I do listen to her. But it's usually whatever it is.
She has a soothing Delilah voice. Don't react. right.
Oh.
She's going to call me right down.
Yeah.
Dr. Becky will call me right down.
And then I'll just see where that Google search takes me.
Yeah.
Like it'll send some suggestions and but I'm not like a loyal
Right.
follow alonger on any specific
Yeah.
things.
I feel like you go through seasons with podcasts.
Yeah.
Like maybe I want to listen to this a lot this week and maybe I want to listen to something else and maybe I need to listen to music.
Like when we interviewed Jason Tardik, I listened to his podcast
I do still
really
listen to his.
leading up to it. And I was like, oh, I love this. And I kind of binged for a while on his. And then, you get off and then you get back on. Like because I follow him on Instagram. So he'll post something that he's
always interviewing a guest. So I kind of listen to his based on if I'm interested in the guest or like what industry they're in. And his is called Trading Secrets. Mm-hmm. That one is good.
It was, I listened to that one.
I love Anna Kornick's podcast. It's About Time.
Yep.
And that's also, you have to be in the right frame of mind. Like, are you needing help with time management? Are you feeling like you need a little kick in the pants, more self-help style? Mm-hmm. That's probably where you want to go.
And I feel like when I follow Anna on Instagram, it makes me want to go listen.
Oh, yeah.
I look and I'm like, God,
what a great guest.
Sounds so good.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go listen to that one.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I'm either Googling a topic or I see their topic on Instagram and it brings me there for that episode.
Yeah.
Depending on if it's something that I'm like, yes, I need this in my life.
I feel like we should have, I can't believe it's been 3 years though. I feel like we should have Googled some like podcasting stats. There's so many podcasts in the world.
How many podcasts
are there in 2022?
Don't we have a thing that tells us where we are?
Yeah, man. There are over 2 million podcasts worldwide. 2 million. Wow. So look, then some people will say, well, I want to start a podcast, but everyone has a podcast. I'm not going to do it. I'm like, 2 million is not honestly that many when you think about how many people there are in the world.
Right. And then is it like realtors where in our market, there's 3,000 realtors, but only, I think 800 are like really selling.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe you want I've also heard and think it would be great if you get into like a podcast in your local area that covers local events or features local businesses or local, anything that's local that could grow your real estate business. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be an hour once a week. It could be 10 minutes every other week. Hey, these are the events for the weekend.
Yep. Here you go. Bye.
And our featured business this week is blah, blah, blah restaurant.
I think that's why I love the Newsworthy because
it is
small, 10-minute episodes.
Yeah.
I love it.
But just think, you could put out a podcast that is literally you on your cell phone once a week recording that says, hey friends, this is what's going on in Baton Rouge this weekend. And I went to this new restaurant, here's my restaurant review.
Yep.
Okay, see you later, bye.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of possibilities, or if there's just something that you're interested in, you can talk about anything. Oh, Gary Vee tells a story I think it's in Crushing It or Crush It. It's one or the other, about these 2 old elderly-ish ladies who were they love to go to the movies. They would always go see movies together. They started a podcast, them like talking about the movies they saw, and they just had their like best friend banter, and it was like hilarious, and it did really well, and everyone wanted to listen to them like review movies basically.
That's neat.
But that's what it could be. Anything.
Yeah, it doesn't matter as long as you're having fun.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I think if we would have started off by saying, Katie, let's think of another way that we can grow our business and make money.
Oh no, that wouldn't have worked.
No. I was actually thinking by starting this podcast, I might have to lose some business and probably decrease my income slightly because I am choosing to commit time to something
impact.
I wasn't seeking financial or business. I was just seeking fulfillment and like giving back to my industry. Mm-hmm. And it was worth sacrificing a day of business to do that, even if that meant that I might lose people here or there.
Right.
It was worth it. So the fact that it has actually grown my business and all it's just been incredible to see that.
Right. You kind of backed into that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it also proves that if you have good intentions in the world, the universe will take care of you. Like, it's not going to be, oh, you are giving. I mean, it is free information. what we teach people in the podcast, I cannot tell you how many messages, we get that say, this is more than my broker has ever taught me. This is more than I learned in real estate school. This is more than I ever learned in all these classes that I have taken. And so this is free information that is vital to what could be a really lucrative business for a person.
Yeah.
Or a really fulfilling, happy business for a person. Or just like a really big change in a lifestyle in a family's life. Like it's very impactful. So yes, I think we both came to it wanting to have some impact. Now, there are a couple of ways that you can, as a podcaster, learn sort of like where you stack up. And we're not like big ranky people, but in Libsyn, and we also didn't know when we started that downloads are like a rolling number, right? Like, we're like, huh?
How many?
What? I don't understand. Like, it just keeps adding to, like, how many downloads do you have? It's just sort of like asking someone, how many Instagram followers do you have? Like, I don't know. Like, okay, well, whatever. So yeah, you might only have 10 people listening to your show, but every week if they listen, it adds up.
Right. It compounds.
Right. So you can go to your Libsyn, like where we host the show, and look at stats. You can read like where people are when they download. That's riveting.
I know.
Like,
that's
where they are, how many people download, how many downloads in a week. The podcast you listen to that have like, the mattress ad or the Geico ad or whatever ad, they have to have a certain number of downloads in a week. And that's how they can get certain ads.
Right.
That's how the advertisers like want to be on there.
Yeah.
There's also Listen Notes. That was the website that Anna told us about, where you can kind of see, like, if you want to see any podcast that you're listening to, like kind of how they stack up or how much they're listened to or kind of what it's about. It's all in the Listen Notes.
Yeah.
I don't really remember any other ones. No.
That was most of them. Yeah.
Do you have any other thoughts about podcasting or things that would help someone if they wanted to start a podcast?
I think that we pre-planned and didn't even start airing until we had like 5 episodes recorded.
Yeah. Our first thing, I don't remember who told, maybe Jenna was like, air 5 at once. I'm like, I don't want to air 5 at once. We aired 2 when we first came out, but we had at least 5 recorded so that you don't ever want to get behind. And that's how you can stay consistent. If you're always a little bit ahead, when things like unforeseen circumstances happen, it's not that big of a deal. We started talking in like the spring of 2019 and we didn't air until August.
Yeah.
So I think planning is huge.
We were recording and thinking of ideas and figuring out logo, but we didn't really overcomplicate it.
No, not at all. Now, I can put on the website like the little equipment list just if somebody wants to look at that. But again, remember, it is not about the equipment. Having a ring light doesn't make you a TikToker. Having a fancy microphone doesn't make you a podcaster.
Right.
Posting a podcast makes you a podcaster. So record it on your phone. That's fine. Just get it up there. So I'll put it on there though, because a lot of times people want to know the tools. Got to know the tools.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else, my friend?
I was trying to find a message you sent me. I wasn't going to say who it was from, but it was a while ago. And we had a lady who wrote us and was just telling us thank you and telling us that she was in a really down place in life and just everything. And that the podcast kind of motivated her and encouraged her to find her own way and to figure out what she needed to do. But she was just sending us a note to say thank you. And whenever we get messages like that, it just reminds me that it's helping people.
Yes.
It's making a difference.
Yes.
And it just kind of keeps us going.
Yeah. Why would you stop?
Right.
If you can do something that you're having fun doing and have that kind of helpful impact for someone else.
Yeah.
Why would you stop?
I know.
There's just no reason.
No reason at all.
Good news. We'll be here for our birthday next year.
Yeah.
God willing.
God willing. We will be here.
Okay. So how do you feel about the toast? I'm going to toast someone in the list, but in general, how did we even decide to do that? What made us come up with this? And we had some sort of basic structure, right?
Yeah.
Like, we'll talk about these certain topics and we want to toast someone every week. Do you remember why we did that?
I'm trying to think because I feel like there was a reason, but I wanted to include our listeners and things and make it a place of encouragement.
Right.
Like we were always wanting to focus on, because we were also getting burnt out with all the rants against each other. You know, if you're in any Facebook group, not the community, of course, but if you're in any Facebook group with realtors, you see the rants and the ugliness that occurs to each other. And so we wanted to make this a place of encouragement and thankfulness and gratitude, and ending it that way. And so we love reading your toasts.
I love them too.
Mm-hmm. And just seeing where everybody's from, you know, that's my favorite part.
I know you like that part.
And the people they toast to and why. It's just so like wonderful.
How that makes you feel all warm and fuzzy.
Yeah.
Like, I just love it.
It's just the epitome of hustle humbly.
Well, people celebrating other people.
Yeah.
Just as good to put out there in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are you ready for a toast?
Yeah.
A birthday toast? I don't know. Are you done? I crossed out all of my notes.
Good.
But I'll wait if you want to say something else.
Do you see anything different with the future of Hustle Humbly? I mean, we just started the community.
I know, that's
which
so new.
we never I would have never even imagined. Like,
we really resisted.
I had to Google what Patreon was.
Yeah, we did really resist.
Mentioned it the first time, and I'm loving that. I'm loving getting to know some of our listeners for the first time and seeing their family photos. And
yeah, that is fun.
That's been really fun.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, I think that one day in the future, we might have like a real live meetup, like a live podcast.
We said that last year.
But we still haven't. We're not there yet.
Yeah, it's still early. Yeah.
We're still early. We're only 3.
Yeah, we're only 3 years old.
We're only 150 episodes.
Right. That's nothing.
God, there's lots of podcasts, like 400 episodes.
Speaking of all the episodes, at this point, is our website done?
I think so.
So if you are a newer listener.
Yeah.
Or if you're referring someone new to the podcast, if you go to hustlehumblypodcast.com and you will see an episodes tab. And I love it because now we have so many episodes. It's like, where do I start? Or what if I'm going on a listing presentation and just want to focus on sellers?
Yeah, because it's really hard to sort through 150 episodes.
Yes. So now if you click on the episodes category, we have so many different categories. We have for the new agents, for the moms, if you're working buyers, if you're working sellers, if you're an investor, click here. If you need motivation, click here. We have the topics there so that you know where to start or where to focus your efforts on. And I am really excited about that.
You love it.
I love it.
You love a list.
Yeah.
You love a list. So they're all there. We have a list just for database too.
Oh, good. Yeah. If you're working on building your database,
there's a whole list
listen
for that.
to those.
Yeah. So it's just an easy peasy browse by category.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's my favorite. Okay. I'm ready for our toast.
Oh, you're ready. What a delight. Let me get it for you. This toast comes to us from Brittany Wheeler in Kentucky. Brittany would like to toast my friend Amber Weghorn. She recommended Hustle Humbly and has been so helpful in answering questions and providing resources to set me up for a successful real estate career. Because of that, I have more realistic expectations going into it. Perfect. So cheers to Amber.
Love it.
Thank you to Brittany. Welcome to the real estate community. And I'm so glad that Amber shared the show with you.
I know.
That's how it works.
Yes, that's how we grow.
There's no, and like, don't hoard all the good professionalism info.
Right. We share it. Make your life easier.
We need these realtors to get better.
Yeah.
We don't want to hide out and not tell them.
Yeah.
Okay, friends. Thank you for being here for 3 years. If you've been here since the beginning, shoot us a message, a DM.
We would love to know if you've been a listener since August of 2019.
Hashtag us with I know. The day that we started, Jeanette, the podcast editor, said, I think 100 to 200 downloads would be a great goal.
Oh my gosh. What's our number right now?
Like it's usually like 6,000 or 7,000 in a week.
Yeah, but what's our...
Oh, the total?
Yeah, what's our total download number right now?
I'll tell you. I didn't know that you were going to put me on the spot like
sorry.
this.
I've got to know.
You're like, I need to know right away.
I can remember when it hit 300 downloads and I just was mind blown.
300 people, like 300 downloads. Like 300.
Yes.
Yeah.
300. I thought, oh my gosh, more than 25 people listened.
I cannot believe it. All-time downloads in 3 years. 798,000 800,000.
What? So by the time
743.
this airs, we're going to be in the 800,000.
800,000. We may hit, maybe we'll hit 1 million in 2022.
I bet we will. How
hit
cool
1 million.
would that be?
That would be amazing.
How neat.
How neat. I mean, it's just so fun. This month, 40,000.
Awesome.
So, I mean, that's for July.
Right.
Interesting, right? Oh, well, while we're on it, I'll tell everybody really quickly our most downloaded episode because it still cracks me up to no end.
We don't know why this is the most
don't
downloaded
know
episode.
why this
Can
is the
y'all tell us why?
Send us a message
Is
if
there
you know
a
why.
reason?
Is it like posted somewhere?
What
like,
is it?
Why? It's the hold on, I'm gonna tell you. It's the episode 128. Profile of home buyers and sellers.
I don't understand.
From 2021.
Yeah.
It's at 11,000 downloads.
Maybe NAR shared it or something.
I just don't know.
It's their article.
It is a mystery.
It's a mystery. What's the rest? What's our other
top 10? Okay, so profile of home buyers and sellers. Then you get episode 135, what to do when you don't know what to do.
Okay.
Then episode 133, what to do when inventory is low.
Right.
Episode 143, working with sellers, pre-listing prep. Episode 123, social media updates for 2022. So that's a Chelsea episode. Episode 131, 2468, it's time for us to motivate. 142, how to real estate farm. 132, referral love. 134, time and time again. That's the revisit with Anna.
Yeah.
And then 126, keeping it simple.
Perfect.
But see, that's the funny thing about podcasting. As the listenership grows,
the newest
episodes always end up at a higher download than the older ones.
Right. There's so many good oldies if you're new.
But that's why we've revisited. That's why we did what to do when you don't know what to do. That's just a
time
revisit.
Time again.
Yeah, we're revisiting topics so that they don't miss it.
Yeah.
Because
it's important.
But it really took for a long time. Our top 10 was always episode 1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
And then others, and the database. Yeah.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Well, friend, thank you for podcasting with me for 3 years.
Katie.
Oh my God, of course. Can't wait to see you.
Happy birthday.
You can't sing that. There's like royalties associated with the birthday song.
I don't want to get us kicked off the air on our third birthday.
Please don't.
Okay, bye. Bye.
Goodbye. Bye. Happy birthday. Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Hustle Humbly podcast. Let us know who we should toast to for the next episode.
Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Hustle Humbly Podcast. If you have an episode, topic, or question, please email us at hustlehumblypodcast@gmail.com.
Be sure to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. See you next week. Bye.
This is the good life.